Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tickle Me Comedy Club podcast, episode 11. We are so happy you are joining us today. My name is Isaac Israel. I am here with my partner in crime, Dillon Dilligaf, and we are here with our guest comedian today. Over 100 TV appearances, has been on Star Search, has been on America's Got Talent, Evening at the Improv, international touring comedian. He's always on the cruise lines. I could go on forever about our next guest. He has the record, the Guinness record, for most jokes in a minute, most jokes in an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Geechy Guy.
Geechy Guy.
Woo-hoo,
Hey,
Geechy
thank
Guy.
you very much.
How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
Good.
Actually, I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we do is we just kind of try to talk to the comics and find out what you've been doing during the pandemic, how it affected your business, the shows that you had scheduled, that kind of stuff. Just kind of we want to learn about you, Geech.
Well, the thing about being a comedian is when you're working, you work an hour a night, so the difference, it's only like an hour difference.
Yeah.
So I usually lay around the home the whole time except for an hour.
Yeah.
Now I don't even have to leave for the hour.
There you go. Well, that's good. That's a good philosophy. I never thought of it.
There you go.
Huh. I was working a whole hour a week. No, I'm not. That's pretty good.
It's per night.
Yeah.
I'm not an idiot. I'm not lazy.
Yeah. An hour a night. Come on.
Yeah. Or sometimes, on the cruise ships you do 5 half hours, 5 different half hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell it.
3:30.
Geech, tell us about that. Yeah, 5 half hours.
I just did, Bill.
Different.
I just told you exactly about it.
5 different half hours on the ship. Okay, what if you have like 2 or 3 jokes as part of a bit that's like similar or the same? I mean, is the cruise director going to be like, hey,
Well, I mean,
you're doing some of the same jokes there. What's going on?
Yeah, the premise is, there's some guys that do 3 different, you can get by with 3 different ones. Because what it is the clubs only seat an X amount, 300 or 400 seats, but there's, 3,000 people on the ship, so even if you do separate shows, even if you do the same shows, people aren't gonna, see them.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to give you flack if you don't have the 5 half hours?
Yeah, the job calls for a certain amount, and if you're not capable of doing that, then you won't keep your job.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends. I mean, you've got to have at least 3 strong half hours,
Mm-hmm.
preferably 4 or 5.
Usually like a family rated one and then maybe an R rated one.
Usually 2 clean and 3 dirty.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. I know when I go on cruises, I always enjoy going to the comedy shows. There's usually some really good comics.
Yeah, and there's usually some really bad ones too. So that's how you can.
Really?
tell.
Like so wait, I thought that
Really.
I
Especially on Carnival, everybody's.
But I thought on the cruise lines it's so easy to make the audiences laugh. Like what are the response? I don't know. That's what I thought.
How many have you performed on?
No. I've just been on like 8.
Yeah.
8
No,
cruise
it's
ships,
the opposite. Everybody's so jaded, and it didn't cost them to be there, and they're drunk, and it's a pain in the ass.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's not it's not opening for somebody at the Mirage.
Uh-huh.
Which is
so then
really,
if they are quote unquote a bad comic, then they're really going to have a hard time.
Oh yeah, I mean some of your shows, you go off at midnight. You go off at midnight to, on a sail away day. So these people have been up since 4 in the morning flying to Miami,
Mm-hmm.
from Charlotte.
Right.
And they get on the ship and they've been drinking since 2 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's 11:45, and they're gonna watch you.
So as a comedian, do you stay on the ship for the whole cruise, or how does that work?
Usually, yeah,
Really?
about a week at a time. It depends, sometimes more. The cruise usually lasts. A cruise is 5 shows, so you can either, if it's a 3 to 4 to 5 day cruise, you do 5 shows. But sometimes if you go on the week-long cruises, you'll get on, let's say the ship goes Saturday to Saturday, you'll get on Wednesday and do the back half of one cruise for 5 shows. And then you'll stay on when that passengers get off. And then you'll stay on when the new passengers come on, and you'll do 5 shows for them.
Okay.
So you'll be on a week, but you'll have covered 2 cruises.
So if you do, so at some
And you
point.
get paid for 2 cruises that way.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that-
well, yes,
I
2
like
cruises.
that. So if you're not on for the whole cruise, they gotta fly you somewhere to get picked up by the ship then, right?
Oh, yeah, well, they fly you in and out of wherever you're going.
Wow.
Whether it's Miami where the ship is, or whether it's Grand Turk, or
That's a lot of logistics.
Bermuda, or
That's great.
Bahamas.
Yeah.
That's
Come
great.
on, pretty Bahamas.
So you talk about that. I did a few years ago, I did a 48-day cruise. Could you imagine staying on the boat?
That's
for
quite a
48
bit.
days?
I've went from here to Hawaii,
Yeah,
which is about 7 or 8,
yeah.
without stopping, which is
Oh, wow.
kind of pain in the ass. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I wasn't
this
sure. I
no,
got
no,
saying
this is,
ass, and I said shit a couple times.
this is First Amendment Podcast Radio right here.
No, it's not a problem.
So-
It's just that I didn't want to be.
Wait a minute, so, did you guys?
I haven't been very funny yet either. I haven't told any jokes. Sorry.
Hold on 1 second, guys. So did someone come to the door? Did someone ring the door? Is Roman here?
Yeah.
Roman's here, okay, can you pull up a chair? Roman's also gonna be on the show.
Oh, is he?
So, Roman.
I thought we were doing another one.
Yeah, no, but that's Brandon.
Oh.
So Roman, how much time do you have?
As much time as you want.
So, well, no, I mean, are you able to do the 7:30 show instead?
I can do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so at least you get to see what's going on right now.
Sure.
Yeah, because this is recorded, it's not live, right? So you see what's
So are
going
we
on.
on or not?
Yeah, no, we are.
You're
We're
just
on.
gonna edit it.
Yeah, we're gonna edit it, yeah,
Yeah.
okay? So, yeah, it's a little work for the podcast team and the film team. All right, so,
So all those days at sea when you're going to Hawaii, does that bother you? Do days at sea?
Not really, you know, there's no more than anything, you know, I mean, it's,
Cheers.
you know, people just don't realize that, you know, when you go to work, you're there for a week.
Yeah.
You know, they go, it must be a lot of fun.
And you
Cruises,
can't-
And I just tell them that the first couple hundred are kind of fun,
Yeah.
and after that it gets kind of tedious.
And then you can't really hide from like if you go get
That's
a meal.
true, yeah, you can't hide, but you know, we're comics, we don't like to hide, we like
Yeah,
to get right in
exactly.
everybody's face and go, look at us.
Geech, where do you get your comedy inspiration from?
I don't get that much anymore.
Oh, back when you started.
Oh, I don't know, I just like doing, I liked it, I don't know, I mean, I don't know, I mean, there's comics I've liked, is that what you mean? Like, who did I like growing up? But
Yeah, where did the inspiration for your style
I
of comedy
started
come
out, I
from?
wanted to be a globetrotter, that's that was my dream.
Mhm.
To be a Harlem Globetrotter,
Uh-huh.
the only job a white kid in America couldn't have was to be a Harlem Globetrotter, so I had to change it, but I started juggling when I was like 4.
Oh, okay.
I was doing the ball, you know,
Really?
the ball spinning and, you know,
Mhm.
doing that sort of thing. And
Wow.
then I started doing unicycles and magic and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
street performing. Started doing comedy when I was 19. The ceiling was too low to juggle when I first started out, so I just kind of dropped
That's
that.
good. Yeah.
No pun intended.
And so where did you start out?
Are we catching me? Sorry.
So where did you start out? Where did you do?
I moved to Florida to open up a pizza place with some friends in '85 from Michigan, where I grew up. And then, so I did my actual first couple open mic nights down there, and then when I moved back to Michigan, after that is when I started full-time.
Really?
That was Labor Day of '85, so that's what, 36 years? It'll be 36 years next month.
Just doing comedy for 36 years.
Wow.
That's
Full-time,
great.
yeah.
Full-time, how cool is that?
Part-time a couple of years. longer than that.
Yeah.
I have put Geech.
19 part-time, 19 age when I started doing my first club, and then 21 full-time.
Wow. I have put Geech in the most compromising situations for a comedian. I've put him in a gentleman's club with a crowd that wasn't paying attention and that was all drunk, and I was thinking to myself, how the heck is he going to be able to get everyone's attention? And I said, Geech, you only got 5 minutes to get their attention, and within those 5 minutes, he was able to capture the crowd and capture their attention for the rest of the show, for everybody after him. And so,
Now, you didn't book that church that I did Sapphire on Friday night
Uh-huh.
and a church in North Las Vegas Sunday morning.
For
Oh, yeah?
redemption, for redemption?
Which one was harder?
They're about the same. They were both
Yeah.
good crowds. Funny's fun.
Geech, I mean, can you give us a sample, like, if we time you for 1 minute? Can
If you
give
would
us-
have told me, I would have brought a list of jokes to do that with, but since you didn't, I don't know how well I can do it, but I'll
Wait,
be around.
wait,
You know
does
where to find me.
anyone have a stopwatch here?
Oh, it's like, I'll be able to do like 6.
Let's do
I
a
mean,
stopwatch.
it's the memory.
Well,
is-
no, we don't want, no, we're not,
Okay.
not for the record, just to give them a sample of like how you're able to get the crowd's attention,
I can do
like,
it.
Oh, well, I don't do
in
that.
a crazy place.
I don't, that's
It
not how
was
I-
just amazing.
But I
So,
don't rattle.
wait, Stefano's good.
particularly
Stefano
rattle
has
off.
it. Ready, and go.
I took a correspondence course in mime. They sent me 6 blank tapes. My horse got shot, so I had to break his leg. The other day I caught a butterfly and it had a tattoo of Cher on his butt. The guy who wrote the Hokey Pokey died. I wonder what that was all about.
Keep going.
I would
You
keep
got
going.
30
No, I
seconds.
gotta save some. Like I said, it's the memory that's gone, not the jokes. See, if you had me bring my list, I'd have 100 of them in front of me.
I've seen you perform several times. In fact, we've worked together, and I think your humor is just absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's just stuff you just don't think of when you're just out there thinking.
Yeah, it is just silly.
Which is,
Bullshit, big
that's,
jokes.
and it goes off very well.
Thank you very much. I've
Ye-
been very fortunate.
Geech, back in 2012 on America's Got Talent, Pierce Morgan was there. He was supposed to play the role of Simon Cowell.
Right.
And you made it all the way to the semifinals, and for some reason, Pierce didn't like your set that day. I don't know what happened. Did you ever talk to him like backstage
No, I
or
didn't.
anything? Like
but
what
you
know?
realize with that show is the show is cast. I mean, they're cast. There's villains, there's heroes, there's everything, and he had a part, and I had a part, and I feel my part. If you saw the show that I particularly was on, it was a rainy day in Seattle, and and I kind of looked goofy, and I did real well on my audition. So what they did is they taped it to look like, here coming back from the commercial. Oh boy, the weather's pretty bad in Seattle, and so are most of the acts. Let's see if this guy's any better. Do-it. Oh no, and that's fine with me. So because they knew I came out and slammed it. So that's what they wanted. So I figured they used me for what they wanted to use me for that early. So I don't think they really particularly cared what happened after that, because that's, not what they, I mean, they weren't going to stop me from winning or stop me from being in the wild cards or whatever, but they didn't have the interest that they wanted for me was that one particular show, I think. And so that's fine. And, like I said, we all play a part. Piers knows, because I remember when I was, standing, getting ready to go out, and Piers said something about something that just didn't seem consistent with, I didn't know him, and he seen me do 2 minutes, so he said, oh, he's the most annoying person I've ever met or something. So I didn't take it any way other than, okay, so this is how they're just playing it, like a part. So I'm, 14 million people watched it, so
Absolutely.
that's what I got out of it.
I did, the first year I started doing comedy, I did audition for America's Got Talent.
What year was that?
Season 10, whatever that was. And,
So you haven't been doing it very long?
no.
Oh, okay, I was gonna
And
say.
so,
I have jokes.
I'm like, you got jokes older than me.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. It was an all-day experience for a 90-second audition.
Oh, I know.
And then they say, hey, go back out there, and if we'll call you if we like you. Well, I never got a call, so
Yeah.
I haven't been back. So, but I'm gonna do it.
For comedians that are that want to audition for America's Got Talent, what kind of advice do you have for them, Geech?
I don't know if it's advice, but my act, like I said, is quick, and it doesn't give them a lot of time to think. If I noticed when I watched back the tape, I did a joke, and I did another joke, and I didn't wait for them
Right.
to laugh. I plowed through my
You
own
plowed through your
jokes.
jokes, yeah.
And that just kind of subconsciously told them that I wasn't their monkey boy, and that I wasn't. It wasn't up to them what I was going to do. It was up to me. And just that little thing of I took a correspondence course in mime. They sent me 6 blank tapes. Boom! Don't even wait for a laugh. I waited for the first laugh, and even got a little bit of a. And I said, screw this. This is I know this is funny. I don't need their opinion. But if they want to laugh, they can laugh. So I just plowed, and fortunately it went good, because the problem with America's Got Talent is if you do bad, there's a better chance they're going to use your footage than if you do good necessarily, because they want that the conflict, and which it makes good for good television. It's a great show, and I love it, and I'm fortunate to have done it.
Well, they did, so when I was out in the audio, or out in the ready room, the big arena that they had, they asked me to do a special filming where they filmed me coming in and saying a few things. And so, like, if I'd have made it farther, they would have probably used that, that part of the video. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they did a whole thing with me. That's the other thing. I don't know if one of the things about me is I had sweat stains under my suit jacket, because I'd been there since 9 in the morning.
Long day.
And, they have continuity, which means they don't want you taking your jacket off, because if they take a picture of you at lunchtime, and then they take a picture of you at 4 o'clock, and you're wearing a different shirt, or don't have your jacket on, then they're not free to cut it. Then, then it would, you'd walk around the corner with the jacket, and then the jacket would be gone.
Yeah.
So
Weird. Magic. You're doing magic.
Right. So that was kind of that, and I didn't even know about it until Howie brought it up on stage. But it was actually, it kind of probably worked for me, because it was unique. Nobody else was called out for sweating through their suit jacket.
So, when you do Star Search, you do an evening at the Improv, you do America's Got Talent. Like, what do you feel before, and what do you feel after the shows? Like, what's going on in your mind before and after?
Oh, well, not too much. Like I said, I chose this business, so people talk about stage fright and things like that. I get nervous when I don't go on stage. I don't get nervous when I go on stage.
The stage is your home.
Yeah, I mean, a week without a stage makes me more nervous than going up. And like I said, I picked this job. I have bullet fright. That's why I'm not a police officer. So stage fright.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
That was a fantastic first showing on America's Got Talent. So what were you feeling after that?
Which one? Oh, the one with the.
The one. I mean, you got a standing ovation.
Okay,
you ended
right.
with the Hooters joke. I mean,
The Hooters joke.
Did I end with the Hooters joke? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know my Hooters joke?
No, I don't.
I just say, how many women think all men are pigs? Let me see a show of Hooters.
That's good.
So
How did you feel after that one? That was
That was fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, that's what I did. It's they're all real fun, and I just enjoy any opportunity I can do them. And like I said, I've been doing this a long time, so a lot of the, I've been a has-been for 20 years. So it's kind of a joke. But
2000. No, you were on AGT 2012, so it's not even
2011.
2011. So yeah.
Season 6. I was on Star Search, and it was called Star Search. It was called Star Search 91.
But
we filmed it. First episode was in end of '89. Second episode was end of '90. So I actually went from one season to.
Who are the comics that you beat that were on Star Search?
You want me to just name them all?
Yeah, name all the comics you beat.
Anita Wise, Scott Harriet, Paul Kelleher,
Mhm.
Peter Berman,
Mhm.
Ray Romano, John Panetta.
Hey, you beat Ray Romano.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Ray. You beat,
Good guy.
you beat Ray Romano.
John Panette, you know who?
Yeah, John Panette, the big,
You
yeah,
know.
heavyset comedian, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, Jordan Brady, he was the first
Yeah.
one from the season before.
Wow,
He's
uh-huh.
a big director now. He did.
Yeah.
He does all the I Am Road comic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rondell Sheridan beat me, and then I beat Chuck Martin in the finals, or in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lost to a puppet in the finals.
Lost to a puppet.
They're cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating.
Is that an iWatch?
No, it's a
How's it work?
Samsung Gear,
How come I can't see what time it is?
because I have to flick my wrist.
Flick your wrist, let me see.
Ta-da. See?
Oh,
Flick my wrist.
flick your wrist.
Yeah. Do you have one?
A watch or a
Well,
wrist?
like this.
I have a wrist.
Well, good. How wristing of you. Hmm.
How we doing? We okay?
Yeah, we're good. How are you?
So,
I'm fine.
so, I mean, how do,
I'm
like,
smiling.
during.
You can't
dur-
see, but
during
what were you
this-
saying, Bill? I'm sorry.
So during this time of
We
COVID,
digress.
during this time of COVID, I mean, what do comics do? And in
Like I
terms
said,
of
I
trying
sit
to get
around
gigs
for
and
1 hour
stuff?
more than I used to sit around for, because I don't have a show.
You recently moved to Mexico.
Yeah.
So how is that?
See.
Really? Oh, that's intriguing.
Are there any comedy
How was
clubs?
it? It was bueno.
Mucho. Really?
I did a show there before I left in March, just for the heck of it.
Well, I'm intrigued. I didn't know that. Tell me about, where did you move to Mexico?
Playa del Carmen,
Okay.
which
and-
is about an hour south, 45 minutes south of Cancun, directly across from Cozumel Island.
And so what motivated you to do that? That's really cool.
Have you been there?
I've been to Cozumel, I've been to.
That's what motivated me to do that.
Yeah, it is stunning, isn't it?
Well, plus I work on cruise ships, so they can
Yeah.
fly me anywhere. I mean, I was living there 3 weeks a month, and I was going on a cruise ship, a week a month, and making enough money to live there, so.
Wow. So are you living there full time?
Well, no, just got divorced, so, no.
Hmm.
Yeah, and plus, there is no cruise ship anymore.
No, there's not, that's for sure.
And, so, I'm just doing that, and then I, working a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had a house in a divorce settlement, so.
So I know that when you were doing your comedy career, you went from Michigan to San Francisco to LA to Vegas. Why did you choose to move to all those different places and do comedy in all those different places?
Well, I grew up in Michigan,
Okay,
went to San Francisco to do the comedy competition,
okay.
stayed there for a couple of years.
How did you do in the comedy competition?
Came in 9th
Uh-huh.
out of
10.
100,000. Or
Really?
some ungodly number of tapes.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
10,000, yeah, some.
You know, that's where I first saw you in the Bay Area. I lived in the Bay
I
Area.
think 500, maybe 500 auditions.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But that's where we saw you first, was in the Bay Area many
Oh,
years
okay.
ago.
And then moved to LA, where you're supposed to go.
Uh,
Did that for a while till I realized, LA is so much about waiting around to fit in someone else's plan,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not Brad Pitt, so I don't, there's not a lot of plans that I fit in that aren't my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I just figured I'd make my own plan.
Mhm.
Come to Vegas. I mean, there used to be some good gigs, and there's still good gigs, but there was guys in Vegas used to go up and do 2 10-minute spots a night, come home with $3 to $5 grand a week.
Really?
Yeah, not many, and not often, but
So how many comedians were on that show, were on those shows like that?
one.
So they do what, a 10-minute spot and then just?
Yeah, it was like Follies Bergère, and
Uh-huh.
it was all the
Oh,
production
okay.
show, and like
Okay, so they were part of a bigger show.
Jubilee. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ray Fell, my God, Ray Fell was in Follies Bergère for 15 years, making, gosh, like,
Mhm.
A week?
Yeah.
Wow.
but it's
Okay, I'm in.
nobody's business.
Sign me up, I'm ready, I can do that.
But yeah, so I mean, that's good money. And like I said, 2 shows a night.
Do comics ever feel like if they become part of that variety show that they're selling out?
No, my God, that's how Siegfried and Roy started in those variety shows.
Right.
That's not selling out at all. That's why you moved to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're, like I said, they're gone. There really is. There's not one left. I mean, Vegas, the show is the closest to it. Jubilee was the last one.
Uh-huh.
Follies Bergère ended in what, 09, I guess. I filled in. I was in that show for a couple of years.
Were you really?
Well, I would not every night, but I would. What it was when Ray was ready to leave, Mario and Danielle came in and filled in for them, and they had already. They opened for Kenny Rogers on the road, so they already had a bunch of stuff booked. So I filled in for them because I was touring with the Righteous Brothers. So that's how we knew each other.
Wait, how long did you tour with the Righteous Brothers for?
8 years, over 200 shows.
How many times did you hear Unchained Melody? Did you,
About 200 times. I stayed. It's so funny. I used to joke that I would hang around after my set. I would sell my CD in the lobby, and then I'd watch their first 2 songs, and then they'd do Unchained Melody, or then they'd do Soul and Inspiration. Then they would introduce me, or say, let's hear it again for Geechy Guy. Then they would do this Ray Charles medley that was great. And then they would do White Cliffs of Dover, and then my favorite song, Dream On. And then they would do, I think, Unchained Melody.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would do this medley of songs, and then they would do Love and Feeling. I think, yeah, I'm missing one or the other, but
You've lost that Love and Feeling.
I used, and then inevitably, by the time I was ready to go, it was too late to go back to the hotel. I figured I might as well wait and watch the whole show. So I got to see it, best job in the world. I mean, my God, I got their Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
How did they find you?
Bobby was a judge on Star Search.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Way back when.
And then Bobby was a judge on Star Search. He saw you on Star Search, and
Right
then they
time
asked
at
you
the
to tour
right
with you.
place?
Yeah.
Like, did you just tour the U.S. or did you tour the world with them?
Oh, it was just the U.S. I mean,
Okay.
we might have done a Canada,
Uh-huh.
but no, we did a couple Canadas, but we did the U.S. and
How many minutes did you do?
I did a half hour.
Mhm. And how many days a year?
About 25 days a year. They didn't do a lot because they were already in their 50s and stuff. When not to say I'm in my 50s, so. But they were, when I was going out with them, they weren't touring like Ron White. They weren't doing 45 weekends a year, Thursday through Sunday. But they'd go out about a week or so every couple months. So they do 5 to 7 gigs, 5, 6 times a year.
How fun is that? Just because he was a judge on Star Search.
Well, and then
lecture
we became
material.
friends here in Vegas. We used to hang. When they played ballets. God, I used to crash in his room all the time. Him and his wife, and yeah, it's lots of great Bobby Hatfield stories. And they're still playing. Bill's kicking ass, and there's a new guy, Bucky Hurd, he's the new Righteous Brother, and he's great. He's a wonderful guy. I knew him before he was a Righteous Brother, so he's really good, and I recommend their show to anybody.
Really?
Especially, I mean, they need to go see them while they're still able to.
Geech, speaking of shows, why don't you tell us about your show, the shows that you had here?
Yeah.
What show is that?
Oh, you had the Dirty Joke
Oh,
show.
I had
You
the
had a
Dirty
bunch of
Joke
shows.
show?
You had a
Yeah.
bunch of shows. Uh-huh.
Well, it's so funny. I moved here to be in a show, and then ended up moving to Reno when I got a show. So I got a show up in Reno in '99 for a year, and then got another show in Tahoe for like a year,
Uh-huh.
and then ended up moving to St. Croix for a couple years, and then I came back to the Midwest, and then ended up back here in '09 and pitched the Dirty Joke show to Hooters.
Mm-hmm.
And that lasted for like two years at Hooters, and then another year somewhere else. It's a great. And have you seen it or?
No, I was just getting ready to ask you. Tell me about it.
It's a play. It's about 3 guys sitting in the alley behind the comedy club waiting for the next show to start, and they've got like an hour to kill, and the dressing room is being painted, so they just have nowhere to go and can't leave.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, so they just start rattling off their favorite, and it was great. It was neat. We 5-week trial. We ended up for over 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it scripted or was it freelance?
I tell people, the way I say it was half scripted, half improv, half jokes.
Half jokes.
So what I told people, I say it was like a lava lamp. Everything in the show is locked into this lamp. So there's no outside new stuff coming into the lamp.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you turn the lamp on, there's a different version of what's in the lamp,
Using the same stuff.
using the same stuff that's in the lamp.
How cool is that? And it
So-
lasted 3 years?
Because that's what it happened 2 years, but it's still going. We did a year or so for a little while, but I mean, I still own it, and just whenever the opportunity would arise, yeah.
So if our audience, if our viewers were interested, what would they look for?
What do you mean, look
Well,
for?
what the name
It's
of
called
the
the
show?
Dirty Joke Show.
The Dirty
Yeah.
Joke Show.
That's the name that will continue to stay.
That's my kind of
Which
show.
was actually a very funny, it was kind of the working title.
Yeah.
And, but there's no better
Stuff.
title for it. It's the best.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm anxious. I'll hard to wait till it comes back. I'd like to go see that.
Well, no problem. How are we doing do we need some more jokes? Are we good on time?
Yeah, no, we're good on
Let's check with the
time.
official timekeeper.
Oh.
We're good?
Like 7 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk some more then.
So,
Any
one
other-
of the things that we did during the pandemic is we did a virtual.
Drive-in.
Well, we did the drive-in. We've talked about that a lot. You should come next time.
I plan on it.
But we did a virtual comedy show.
Oh, okay.
On Zoom.
Oh, all right.
And that was a lot of fun. It seems kind of awkward, but it turned out to be quite a lot of fun.
So who's on Zoom? Just the comics?
Well, there were some audience members.
So you're watching them too?
Yeah, they were watching, everybody was up on the screen, and so you could see the audience response, and they could laugh or
Huh.
whatever. But it was,
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do that yet.
yeah, if you ever get a chance, I thought it was a great opportunity to keep doing some comedy during the pandemic. It was a lot.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and as I say all the time, I was really an advantage, because I had the camera, and then I had my set list right below it, so I didn't have to remember anything, because it was all right there.
Oh, exactly.
But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Geech, what's next for you? Like, after this pandemic, are you going back to the cruise ships? Like, what are you planning
Who
to
knows?
do?
They're gonna have to tell
Uh-huh.
what cruise ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm planning on recording an album
Mm-hmm.
shortly after we can.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a plan, and go from there, and just keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully, I opened for Bill Maher at the Mirage when he plays, but we've canceled the last two.
Oh, okay.
And
Mhm.
we're scheduled for Halloween weekend, but we probably won't.
So you're opening up for Bill Maher and Ron White?
Ron White.
Oh, that's great, at the Mirage.
Yeah, which is great, because they're almost totally, that's what's great about being able to open for guys. They're totally different. I mean, to the point where some people that like one wouldn't like the other.
Right.
But they both have smart crowds,
Mm-hmm.
and they both like me. So
There you go, double whammy.
I don't know if that means I'm smart or the opposite.
It means you're funny.
There you go.
That's
Exactly. Huh, I like it.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, anything else we wanna?
I think that's a wrap.
Each?
Is there anything you want to tell our viewers and our
No,
listeners?
Our viewers? Are those
Our viewers and our listeners?
We're on camera?
Yeah, we're on camera
What?
too.
Who knew? So how
We were
could
on
our?
camera? Really? I would've.
So Geech, how could our?
Flash somebody.
How could our viewers find you? Do you have social media?
Oh, I am. I'm on Geechy Guy, the new king of one-liners page.
Spell it, Geechy,
Geechy Guy.
Geechy Guy,
It's Japanese for crazy. It was given to me by an exchange student.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Oops.
then, and then in case I wasn't funny, I used it.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to embarrass my family.
Yeah, we disavow any knowledge of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, cool, so we can find you on social media.
Yeah, Geechy Guy. I mean, I've got a personal page, but it's called New King of One-Liners. And they've got jokes and selfies, and I do these juggling things, and I do a thing called hot tub joke machine, where I pop out of a hot tub and tell a joke. It's stupid shit.
But it works, right?
I don't know.
I mean, look where you are.
Oh, yeah, but I'm the same place you are.
Well, I mean, as far as career-wise, so I'm certainly not at that point.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant this room.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Well, yeah, I'm hanging in. Like I said, I've been doing this a long, long time, so I'm just thankful to be able to continue doing it,
Oh, cool.
even though right at the moment I'm not.
Well, from a much less experienced comic, I'm inspired. I got some great tidbits.
Oh, it's my
nuggets from
pleasure.
you.
And sorry I wasn't funny. Like I said,
Well, that's something I
well, there
did.
tends to be, when you do the interviews, you pick the information guy or you pick the funny guy, and a lot of times the funny guy's not very informative.
Well,
And a lot of times the informative guy's not very funny.
Well, our format is different. It's very low-key, very informal. If there's funny stuff in there, there's funny stuff. If there's not, it's informational.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of, you hit the marks.
Well, great. Well, thanks for having me.
Great.
Thank you, Geech.
Are we done? Oh,
Yes, so we are sponsored by the Blue Zone Comedy Tour.
Blue
Jack,
Zone Comedy Tour,
Can you
yep.
tell them a little bit about that?
Well, Blue Zone Comedy Tour is an organization that we specialize in disabled comics and giving them an opportunity to do some performing and everything. So it's kind of a love of mine. And so it's called Blue Zone Comedy Tour, and you can get us on social media. And we're happy to host the Tickle Me Comedy podcast.
well, great.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good night. We'll see you
Have a
next
good
time.
night, guys.
Bye. Damn it. Come on.